Well, it's that time of the year again. It's time for us to look back at all of the adult animation 2021 had to offer and pick the best and worst of the year. I am so excited for this video because we had so much fantastic adult animation this year that I really only had one nominee for the worst of 2021, which I was not expecting to happen. I was expecting there to be a good few shows that I thought were terrible, but no, there was only one show that came out this year that was genuinely terrible enough to deserve that reward. But don't worry, we'll get to that in just a second. But of course, this time of year is for reflecting, and I love reflecting on the comment section below, and I can only do that when you guys leave comments below. So let me know what your favorite and least favorite adult animated projects of this year were. Don't worry, I read every single comment on this channel, so don't be shy, yours will not be overlooked. And with that out of the way, let's get into our first category. Best voice performance of 2021. There were a lot of fantastic ones this year. I tried to narrow it down best I could. I'll be honest, there's only 3 shows on it, but there's like 6, what's that right? 6 nominees, so I'm a little bit biased, I guess, for some of these shows, but I'll just rattle them off for y'all real quick so you can see who I've nominated. First up, we have Ella Purnell as Jinx from Arcane, Haley Steinfeld as Vi from Arcane, Jason Spizak as Silco from, get this, Arcane, Bill Burr as Frank Reynolds in F is for Family, Steven Yeun as Invincible in Invincible, and J.K. Simmons as Omni-Man in Invincible. Those are my nominees this year. As you can see, Invincible and Arcane are very much present. I got Bill Burr in there because I think that he has been doing a fantastic job as a voice actor these last years while he's been working on F is for Family and has not gotten the respect he deserved, and he's only gotten better. Season 5 is his best performance as Frank Reynolds. It's his most emotional performance as him. It's one of his funniest, if not the funniest, of all 5 of the seasons. It's fantastic, and so I knew I had to pay him some respect, but when it comes to the best performance of the year, I know I nominated all of these people, I know they all did a great job, but one stood out in my mind for sure, and that was Ella Purnell as Jinx from Arcane, the winner of the Mr. Cow Best Performance Award. Yeah! Way to go, Ella Purnell. I don't have a trophy or anything for you. I doubt you'll ever see this video, but great job. Fantastic performance. Arcane's a great show, and you made it even better. You brought so much emotion to that character. By far the best performance of the year, and that is some stiff goddamn competition on the other side as well. However, it's not just about the great performances. Sometimes we have to talk about the worst performances, which is a much easier category to narrow down than best performance. Narrowing down best performance took me about an hour. Narrowing down worst performance took me about 3 minutes. For worst performance of 2021, I only have one nominee, and that is Seth Rogen as Santa in Santa Inc. He's not playing a character. He's just Santa. He's just Seth Rogen. I almost called him Santa. He's just Seth Rogen. He doesn't even try to play Santa. It's just Seth Rogen's personality and voice coming out of a character that looks like Santa. It's not a good performance. It's not egregiously bad, but it's clear that he just didn't put any effort into it whatsoever when people on that show were kind of trying a little bit, but it was clear he was phoning it in. It was embarrassing. That whole show is embarrassing, but that's easily the worst performance of 2021. But let's get out of the negative stuff and move on instead to something a little bit more positive and look to the future with my most anticipated show for 2022. And I don't have to anticipate it for very long because I believe it comes out like probably a week, maybe a little over a week after this video comes out. It's Smiling Friends by Michael Cusack and Zach Hadel. This show premieres January 9th, 2022 on Adult Swim. I am extremely excited for it. I've been watching Psychic Pebbles and Zach Hadel's stuff since probably around the time this channel started, now that I think about it. It's the 6-year anniversary of the channel this year. It's also the 6-year anniversary of me being a fan of Zach Hadel. So it's fantastic to see him and Michael Cusack and everyone that's working on this show getting a chance to be on a network, especially on Adult Swim, such an awesome network for adult animation. I'm really excited for this show. Check it out when it comes out. The pilot is up on YouTube right now. You can check it out. It's called Smiling Friends. Smiling Friends, January 9th, 2022. It's fantastic. And with that out of the way, that's really our filler, I guess, categories. I don't want to call them filler because I did put a good amount of thought into the best performance this year, but I know what you guys are all here for. You want to hear what the best and worst animated shows of 2021 were. So without further ado, let's talk about the worst adult animated series of 2021. As I said at the start of this video, I did not have to think about this for very long. There is one show that fell completely flat, had a lot of effort put into it, but not on a certain side of it, which is the writing and joke department or the voice acting department. But it's a beautiful looking show with absolutely no substance. The worst animated series of 2021, without question, is Santa Inc. A terrible, terribly unfunny show that no human being should watch. If you adore Sausage Party, watch Santa Inc. If you don't, stay far away from this show. It has no benefits whatsoever. It's just a comedy that falls completely flat. And it's a real shame because the animation in Santa Inc. is pretty dang fantastic. It looks great. It's one of those terrible times when the best part of a show is animation and that the show is still terrible because no effort was put into it from a writing perspective, from a humor perspective, from a comedy perspective. It's just talented animators being given material by a bunch of people phoning it in. What a terrible show. That's easily the worst of 2021. Now on to a decision that took a lot more thought. The best adult animation of 2021. This was incredibly difficult to put together and to pick a winner on because there's a couple of shows on this list that I gave 10 out of 10s to, and trying to decipher which one was better in my mind was very difficult. But my nominees for Best Adult Animation of 2021 are as follows: Arcane, Invincible, Inside Job, Close Enough Season 2, and F is for Family Series Finale, the Season 5. Those are my nominees for Best of 2021. Now, I know I've said some negative things about Inside Job, but looking back at that show, I have to say I am really looking forward to the second season. They set up a lot of interesting characters and plot points, and I think that it could be something really great in the future if they move away from humor that's just based off references, because basically that's what all of Inside Job is. It's just references to a bunch of different things. And as for F is for Family, the final season, I thought that it was a little bit rushed, but it was a good ending for the characters. It was a solid season through and through up until that rushed ending. It's a shame it got rushed, but I do want to pay respects to it because it did wrap up things, and I'm sure if it had enough time, it would have been able to wrap them up in a more satisfying manner. And as for Close Enough Season 2, it's just a more grown-up regular show that hits a lot more often than regular show does. Regular show tends to have a couple dud episodes every once in a while. Season 2 of Close Enough, not too many. It had a lot of really, really solid episodes, and it deserves a little bit more attention than it's getting right now. Watch Close Enough Season 2 on HBO Max, everybody. I'm not sponsored by them. I just really think people should check out that show. And now that I've talked about those three, I'm sure you guys can guess there's two shows that are for sure standouts this year, and those two shows are Arcane and Invincible. This was an incredibly difficult decision because Invincible is created by my favorite comic book creator, Robert Kirkman. He did The Walking Dead, he did Outcast, he did Oblivion Song, and of course he did Invincible, which turned into this series. He is so talented and he's so great at making intense, interesting stories. It's difficult to pick between that and objectively one of the most perfectly crafted 9-episode stories in TV history. That, but of course, being Arcane. That is such difficult competition to go up against. A childhood favorite and current favorite creator of mine up against a show that is animated uniquely and beautifully and tells a complex, interesting story with deep characters. I'm not saying Invincible doesn't have deep characters and isn't complex. They're just both 10 out of 10 masterpieces of shows. It's really hard to choose which one I thought was better as a whole, But honestly, I think after putting a lot of thought into it, the winner for Best Adult Animated Series of 2021 has to be Arcane, for sure. Arcane, in terms of the animation department, I think just edges out Invincible a little bit. And in terms of just focus on its story, everything in that show feels perfectly lined up. All of the time, all of the pacing is just laid out at a perfect rate, where nothing feels slow. Where Invincible every once in a while could have an episode or a few scene stretch that just felt like it was prolonging what everyone actually wanted to see unveil, which is the big overarching story of, the main character Invincible. Arcane is just so good at laying out its story, letting the animation speak for itself, letting the performances speak for themselves, and of course letting that story that they created speak for itself as well. Arcane is easily one of the best animated shows of the last 10 years. So is Invincible in my mind, so it's hard to pick between the two of them, but no question, if you haven't seen any of those shows I just listed, other than of course Santa Inc., you should go check them out right now, because they're all fantastic, and I highly recommend each and every one of them. But that is the best and worst of 2021. Once again, leave your thoughts in the comment section below of what you think is the best and worst adult animation of the year. I'm really excited to see what you guys thought. Let me know what you thought of my list, and of course I have something to plug. I never have anything to plug outside of this channel, but if you are a fan of music, head on over to Spotify and listen to Boner Symphony by Dogen, an EP I worked on this year that you can go check out on Spotify or Apple Music or literally anywhere you get your music. It is rivaling the likes of the Beatles and Jesus. Thank you very much for watching. That's my shameless plug of a project that's not relevant to this video, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.